All right, you guys. So we're going to start today in extended child's pose. We're going to be doing core and back stuff. We'll do a little twist and side body lengthening too. But let's start widening your knees and just coming into child's pose. Resting your forehead on the mat. You could rock a little side to side. If you just got up and are getting moving here, take your time. Inviting in that deep exhale. Good. And then we'll inhale, come up just a little bit. We're gonna walk your arms over to the right, maybe stacking the palms, stretch out that whole left side of the back. Good, and we'll move back through the center and over to your other side. Just still try to reach both hips down towards the heels. And a good stretch under your shoulder blade. Good, and we'll come back through the center. And let's come on up into table. And take some time opening the hands. If it feels good on your wrist, you can turn one wrist over at a time, just getting some space in the back of the wrist. Good, and let's go ahead and release. If you didn't do your other hand yet, go for it. Let's take your right leg back, press through the ball of the foot, open up the sole of the foot. So now we have both hands flat. We're gonna change legs through plank just to tap into that energy in the belly and then rebend that right knee. Good, and then we'll release back into plank, one breath. Exhale, bring your knees down. Using your core, we'll lower all the way down. And just take a little cobra here, opening your heart. Exhale, release. Come back into table. And take some cat-cow. So opening the chest as you inhale. Exhale, scooping your core. And take a few rounds on your own speed. Waking up your back. Good. And then we'll come all the way into downward dog. And let's walk through the feet, bending one knee at a time. Continue to activate your abdominal muscles here, hugging your belly into your back and reaching your tailbone way up. Good. And we'll start to walk your feet up towards your hands, stretching those calves. Nice. When you get all the way up there, release your wrists. And we're going to grab the back of the calves, pull yourself into that strong Uttanasana. Bring your hands to the front of your shins. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Feel the back muscles. We'll do that one 2 more times. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, lengthen. You could bend the knees if you need to, if you're not warm. Last round. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Good, and we'll exhale, release your head and neck. If it would feel good, wrap your hands around the back of the head, squeeze your elbows around your jaw. And then we'll let go of the arms. Take your time rounding up. Heavy hands and head. We'll come all the way up and do a little adjustment here. Good. Afraid I'm going to trip over the wires here. Let's come on up to the top of the mat. We're gonna take one round of A, one round of B, just to get our tapas, our heat flowing. Good, so plugging in the feet, reaching energy out of the crown of the head. Inhale, reach out and up. Feeling those back muscles. Exhale, use your core. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we'll step back, table or plank, lower in one piece. Inhale, cobra. Maybe coming up a little higher now that you're warm. Back through plank, downward dog. And we'll take 3 breaths here. Feel that space in the hamstrings. We'll hug those outer arms in towards the midline. Last breath out, step or hop up, feet to hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Inhale all the way up. Exhale. Right into B, Utkatasana. Leading with the heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step or jump back, plank to hover. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale. And let's take our right leg up. Sweeping up, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale. Trying to keep those hips low. Good, right into your second side. Exhale. And then your choice, 3 breaths here, or maybe a half dog if you need to take a rest. And bring the knees down. Good. And we'll come on up, feet to hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Back through your chair. Drawing those upper arms back, and we'll stand. Good, okay. So now we're nice and warm. Let's think about a standing balance of your choice today. So using the core and back to find that stability, I'm gonna do tree pose. You might choose stork or dancer's pose or warrior 3. So wherever you are, really plant and ground down through your foot. Reach energy up and out through the crown. So you're pulling your spine long. And if you're in tree and you want to let the cherry blossoms blow, the flowering trees are so beautiful out lately. Try a little movement side to side. Or maybe if you're in stork, changing your gaze. But we're going to stay 2 more breaths, drawing that navel towards your back. Good. And then we'll release, getting taller. Shake out that leg. Second side. So finding that stability, easing the hips so your hips are even. Good. Tree, stork, or warrior 3. Just notice if the 2 sides feel different. Letting that gentle breeze blow the branches. Grounding through that standing foot. You're going to continue to use your core as you breathe out. Let's do 1 more breath, getting taller through the crown, and we'll lower. Good, and just shake everything out. Nice, okay. So a super fun balance where we're going to use our core and back. Usually we look at warrior 3. I thought we'd look at Ardha Chandrasana today. Challenging balance. We used the wall a couple of classes ago. That's an option. Let's start in our triangle pose with your left leg back, right leg forward. And you're trying to stay right in the side plane. So I'm staying facing the front today so you can see we're not letting a big back bend happen or the legs sweep behind. So in your half moon, we're using that strong standing foot, navel to back, reaching through that lifted heel. Super active outer hip. And if you need to, you could bend the standing knee. We're going to do one more breath here. Good. And then let's step back into warrior two. Good. And we'll change sides. So balances wake us right up. Getting your brain going here. So Trikonasana. Stacking those hips and shoulders. And maybe imagine the wall behind you. That helps me. Opening, bending the front knee when you're ready. And taking any version. Maybe you keep that back ball of the foot on the mat. You could have your hand on a block or the floor. 3 breaths. Reaching through that heel, bending the standing knee helps you ground. And then we'll come back, warrior two. Good, and we're gonna windmill down, either take a vinyasa or straight into downward dog. Good, and we're gonna recover the breath here. Knees to the mat, any child's pose that would feel good. Good. Just let your shoulders release. Okay, so we're gonna come on up to a seat so you can see. 2 options. Easier version would be to come into table and take opposite arm and leg. If you're feeling fancy today, you could reach back for that inner, I don't know if you guys can see, inner ankle kicking up into a little back bend, and then we'll release. So that's one option. Option number 2, downward dog, opposite arm and leg. And we've done this one before, cupping that hand, looking forward, releasing the fingers. So we'll do it 2 times. If you want to do table first and then try the downward dog, that's an option. But let's all come into your symmetrical shape. We'll take the right leg back, left arm forward. And you're really lifting those hips up in both versions. Use your core. Good, trying to stay in that midline of the body. One more breath. You're doing your table version. Maybe reaching for the ankle, and then we'll release. Exhale, lower. If you need to take a child's pose here, feel free. Otherwise, left leg's gonna reach back, right arm forward. If you're in downward dog, you can creep a little closer to your hands, and that takes the strain out of that wrist. Strong inner thigh. Table version if you want to reach for your ankle. And then let's release. I know it's been a few breaths. Come on down. Let's all take child's pose or half dog. Any version. Swirl out your wrists. Good, and then we're gonna go for our second round. So we're overloading a little bit. Make sure that we're feeling the core, not just all in that one wrist. So that tip of closing up your dog a little bit makes it easier. So table or downward dog, we're gonna go one more round. Right leg up, left arm forward. And just 3 breaths. Really pulling those hips up. Good, and we'll exhale, release. Second side. Just notice if one arm or Leg feels stronger, more flexible. 3 breaths. Good. And then we'll slowly release. Awesome. Let's take knees to the mat if you're in your downward dog, and just move through your back and spine. And we'll take a break on the wrists and head into our Locusts Pose. So I want to do a little bit through the lower back. We're going to do a few, so pace yourselves. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see better. Good. Okay, so we're going to come all the way down to the belly here. Thank you. And then just notice, sometimes just laying on the belly is feeling a lower back bend. So you're just getting comfortable. You could always put a rolled towel or blanket under your thighs. Let the shoulders turn inward and relax your arms, resting your forehead on the mat. And we're going to roll the shoulders up, back, and down. See if you can interlace your hands behind you. Pull the hands down towards your tailbone, and we're going to lift up little baby cobra. If that feels good, reach the triceps up and come up higher. And you can keep going till you hit your edge. One more breath. My legs are easy on the mat. And we'll exhale, release. Go ahead and relax your arms. Turn your cheek down. Relaxing those upper back muscles. Good. And then we'll bring your forehead back to the mat. Re-roll those shoulders up towards your ears, down away from the ears. And we're going to take just the right leg up. Turning it in, reaching through the ball of the foot, activating the hamstring. One more breath. Reach through the foot, and then we'll lower. So hips stay on the mat. Second side. Left leg comes up. So low back, hamstring, glutes working. One more breath. And then lower. Good. So we're going to try both. Lifting both legs up, might not go as high. Turning the legs in. Just one more breath. Upper back is easy. And we'll exhale. Lower the legs. Turn your other cheek down. Good. And we're going to combine now the upper body and the lower body. If you need to just do one leg at a time, feel free to modify your Shavasana so it feels good on your back. But let's start by bringing the forehead down. We'll roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And I'm going to press the tops of the hands into the floor to help lift up, getting some leverage there. We'll add the right leg, the left leg, maybe the arms. Opening your heart, lifting those legs up. One more round, wherever you are is great. Easy back of the neck. And we'll exhale, release. Turn your cheek to the side. Good. So those friends that only did one leg, you're going to get a second chance here to add the other one. If you're noticing some tension in the low back, feel free just to do your upper back, half of Shavasana. But let's try one more round. Forehead to the mat, neck is long. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Those of you that want to go deeper, interlace your hands behind you to lift up, adding one or both legs. Opening the heart, last breath. Good. Exhale. Awesome. Let's bring your hands under your shoulders. Take your time pressing back into table. And we're just going to work through that spine a little after all that. Cat-cow or whatever feels good. Move my stuff out of the way. And then let's take one dolphin pose today just to build up that core strength. May or may not have time to do a crow here, we'll see. But make sure your back is released. Good. And we'll bring the forearms to the mat. Reach for the opposite elbows, interlace your hands. And in your dolphin, think of that opposite arm and leg abdominal strengthener we did here. So pull the belly button in towards your back, reach up. And you can look forward and let your head release. If you want more of a forward bend, walk your feet closer. And you can always bend the knees if you need to here. Yeah, and you're just noticing what's going on here in that lower back and hamstrings. Good, and we'll exhale, knees down. Let's take a nice, deep child's pose. Arms forward or back. Maybe rock side to side, release your lower back. Good, and then we're gonna come on into our hair pose. Find your heels with your hands, tuck your chin under, lift your belly up, round that upper back. So hugging the chin towards your chest. One more breath. And release, forehead back to the mat. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring the hands under the shoulders, slowly curl up. And you get a choice today, 2 fun options. Either a couple breaths in crow to work the core, or pendant pose, which is not necessarily easier. So your pendant, you're gonna bring your hands by your knees, press down through the hands and lift one knee up or both, or some of us might be able to get one foot up or both. Maybe for a moment. Good. Crow friends are going to come forward with the hands, coming into our squat. And you don't even have to take the full pose here, but finding that breath out, lifting up through the Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha. Taking your crow or pendant. So just one last real strong pose. Good. And then we'll release. Go ahead and just have a seat. Swirl out the wrists, and I'm going to switch back to my front. Good. All right. So heading almost into our lunar phase. We're going to do one more little core strengthener. So let's start by just a gentle turtle shape. Right arm's going to come under that right leg to stretch out the back of the shoulder. You could hold your foot or turn the arm all the way in and reach behind the hip. Whatever feels good on your shoulder. We can do one side at a time or both. And then scoop the belly in, head towards your feet. And just get all the tension out of your neck here. Let the weight of the head bring you forward. Good, and we'll inhale, come on up. Nice. We're gonna pick up that right leg, rocking your hip, maybe snuggling your shoulder under, maybe leg behind the head. And friends that wanna go for an arm balance here, we'll extend through that bottom leg, press your hands down, maybe lift up, maybe not. Maybe bring your toe to your third eye. And we'll release. Good, second side. So just getting a little hip opening in here while we're at it. Maybe taking that shoulder under. So rocking forward is going to make this easier if you're trying your lift. Good, release. Nice, and we'll lower. All right, so we're gonna get into a twist here. Let's take your right knee up. Left leg, we're gonna keep this leg bent today. Bring your left leg under. So option number 1, your heel is by your opposite ankle. Option number 2, you could cross to the outer thigh. We're really gonna lift up out of that lower back and wrap. Arm around outer thigh, elbow, or you can take the bind. But let's press thigh into the arm to lift up and take your twist. Trying to breathe that back shoulder down. Feeling open in your chest. One more breath. Good. And we'll exhale, release ribs, shoulders, head. We're going to scoop under the leg and just do one little high kick today. Extending, and then we'll release. And let's shake out both legs and hips. And try that on the other side. So this is your left leg's coming up, right leg's under or cross, lifting up and around. And just check out what's going on in that lower back here. You can always back off the twist or really press your thigh into your arm, outer thigh. Breathing out. Good. And then we'll release ribs, shoulders, head. And let's scoop and extend that leg. So kind of a Kronchasana prep. Good. And we'll lower. And let's shake everything out. We're going to go right into Pashimo Tanasana to stretch out our back from those locusts. So notice here, if you're already rounding, sit yourself up on a prop so you can hinge at the hips. Walk yourself forward. You could do the mat trick like a strap around the balls of the feet. You have something to pull on. Exhale over those legs. 3 breaths. And with each inhale, grow a little deeper through the crown of the head. Exhale, getting closer to your legs. One more round. Good. And then we're going to slowly release. Inhale, come on up. Okay, so for our big Purvottanasana today, you might choose to be on your fists or fingertips in towards your hips, but we're all going to bend the knees. Take your time, wrists under shoulders, knees will come over the ankles as you lift up. So see how this feels on your wrists and your chest. If you want to go deeper today, we'll take the right heel up, maybe right leg up. If that feels steady, bend the knee, open the hip, press your ankle down into your thigh and really lift those hips up high. And then we'll re-extend that right leg. Lower, we got the other side to go. So trying to keep the hips high, left leg up maybe, or knee up. Cross and press. Good, feeling that good stretch in the front of the shoulders. Re-extend the leg. Woo, that's a good one. Exhale, hips to the mat. And we'll swirl out the wrist. Awesome. So now for our super fun abdominal series. We're ready. Bend the knees. Let's start by reaching for the right outer thigh. Turn sideways. You're going to scoop your belly, come down about halfway. And then we'll change left outer thigh. Come down a little more. Keep alternating and scooping till you get all the way down. Take a pause here. Use your inhale to release the abs. Exhale, we're going to go the other way. So reach for the left outer thigh. Come up. Chin to chest. Right. Come up a little higher. And coming up against gravity is harder than going down. So trying to keep that movement smooth. One more round of these. Breathing out. Trying to round through that lower back. Hug the abdominal muscles in. And then back up. And we're trying our best to keep the feet on the mat without popping up. Good. Last one here. We're going to hold the front of the shins. Just round your back. So kind of that hare pose. Maybe swing side to side if that feels good on your shoulders. We'll go ahead and reach for your outer thighs. Continue to scoop down. Good. And then when the shoulders come down, take a break. It might feel good to reach the arms overhead. Extend your legs if that feels good. Opening the core. Good. And then we'll release. Go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Nice. And we're going to look at our side crow shape on our back to get the core going. So I just need to take this off. We're going to let the legs go over to your right. And just let your back get used to the twist first. So you're in your ball here. Right elbow is going to come to the outer right thigh. So that's our side crow arm. Make your left arm match. As if you're doing side crow on the ceiling, we're going to breathe out, scoop your core. You can squeeze the thighs together, try to get both shoulders up. We're going to hold for one more round. Good. And then release. Nice. And we're going to change, hug the knees in. Let's just take a happy baby here to release those hips. Oh. And then we'll just rock and release. And then we'll slowly, yep, I'm going to turn off. Thanks, Michelle. We'll go over to our other side. Exhale, legs to your left. Open the chest. Breathing out. Good. And then this is left elbow to outer right thigh. Other arm comes in. So if you're in your side crow, there's no weight on this other arm. Breathe out, scoop up, contracting those oblique abdominal muscles and rectus. Trying to get both shoulders up, holding for one last breath. Good, and then we'll release. Feeling grateful for our strong core. Come back to the center, happy baby pose. And you might extend one leg straight-ish all the way out. Good. So we're going to do one more here. Thinking about our crow shape. Let's bring our elbows inside the knees. So this is not really crow. It's more like firefly pose. But let's press the thighs down with the elbows. Flex your wrists. Breathe out and scoop up. Shoulders come off the mat. Pressing the thighs down. One more breath. Tailbone scoops under. And then we'll release. Good. Soles the feet together on the floor. Supta Baddha Konasana. It might feel good to reach the arms overhead again if you're getting crampy. Good. And then just starting to slow down a little bit. Opening the front. And if the arms are overhead, let's bring them back down by your side. Hands to the outer thighs. We'll bring the knees up. Good. And we're going to set up for our bridge pose. So bridge works everything. The core, the back, the legs. Opening the chest by squeezing those shoulder blades. So great all-in-one pose. And it's an inversion. So take your time setting up the bridge feet. We'll activate the big toe of the ball of the foot side. So keeping the inner thighs nice and strong. We'll start to lift up. And then you're going to take any version of bridge that feels good for you. You could lift heels up or rock the arms more underneath you. Really lifting that heart center up. We'll take 3 more breaths here today. If you want to do a one-legged bridge, that's a really good challenge on that one hamstring. So really appreciating our back. And then when you're ready to come down, we'll release the arms. If you want, lift the heels up to make space in that lower back. Use your abdominal muscles to extra slowly Bring each vertebrae down separately. Good. And when the tailbone gets down, heels come down, you can stay right here. You could open again into Supta Baddha Konasana, or if you know fish, any version of fish pose. Just taking care of your neck here. And then when you're ready, release the fish. We'll come all the way down. Whew. So that was a very thorough core and back practice. Let's really release the back now. So we'll hug your knees in. Wrap your arms around your shins and just drop into that child's pose shape. Melting through the low back. If you want to rock and that feels good, go for it. Good. And then you're going to decide on your energy level here if crossing the ankles and taking some little rocks would feel good, or all the way up and back into Halasana. Either way, we're opening the lower back and upper back if you're in your Halasana. The legs could be bent or straight. And if you want to challenge, you could reach your hands for your feet. Last 3 breaths. And then see if your hands are by your feet. You can slowly, slowly curl down using the core. Your hands are down by the side. You can still try to bring those legs down slowly. Good. And then we'll all end up in Supta Baddha Konasana. One more round. Just letting the hips open. And let's go ahead and put your right hand on your heart, left hand on your belly. Noticing any shifts in your energy level, feeling even right to left. Good, and let's relax your arms down. We're gonna come back up into that bridge shape setup, not the full bridge, and we'll do our windshield wiper twist. So opening the arms, just letting those legs flop side to side. Spiraling that lower back. Let's see if you can glue the shoulders down. Heavy legs. Getting into that first and second chakra here. Good. And the next time you come to the left, we'll exhale, scoop that tailbone under. Coming back into our parallel legs, we'll hug your right knee in. And let's go ahead and bring your head up to your knee, rounding your back, activating your core for one more. Hips can lift up off the mat as you extend that right leg. And then your choice, you could always extend the left leg, intensifying that hamstring stretch. One more breath with the head to knee, and then we'll lower shoulders and head. And let's take the leg open to your right. You can make your shelf here. Let's keep pressing your core down so that low back is long. Good. And then using the inner thigh, we'll bring the leg back up to the midline. Switch, so left hand to right leg or foot. Take a nice, slow, deep twist today. You could always bend that right knee if you need to. Crossing your leg over. Big, big breaths out. Good. And then using the core and back and outer hip to lift the leg back up. Pulling that outer right hip away. We'll take our warrior 3. Reach your arms overhead. Pull through both feet. Slowly start to lower the right leg. Slower the better, using your core. Good. And we'll just let everything go. Turn the arms and legs in and out. We'll set that whole thing up on our other side. So bending both knees, lengthening that lower back, hug your left knee in. Exhale, head to knee. Try to keep that energy in the core, not just the neck as you lift, and extend that left leg. Maybe extending the right. Last breath out. Really scoop. We're going to bring shoulders and head back to the mat. Open the leg to your left. I'm trying to reach that tailbone down if the leg is straight here. Easy, easy chest and shoulders. When you're ready, activate your core. Press that belly button down as you bring the leg to the center and head into your twists. Maybe looking at that left hand on the side if it feels good. Good, and then coming out carefully, activate your core and outer left hip to lift up. Press your back into the floor and pull that outer left hip forward. We'll take arms overhead, warrior 3. Good, and then slowly pull through that heel, press your core down. Awesome. We're going to keep the arms overhead. You can shake out your legs. We're going to be moving into our Crescent Moon or banana pose. So let's walk the upper body over to your right. Maybe pull on that left wrist. Walk your legs as far as you can over to the right. And you could cross right ankle over left. Open that left side. So pulling on the wrist is going to get nice and deeply under the shoulder blade, if that feels good for you. And I'm still trying to keep those hips flat on the mat, shoulders flat. Last big breath out. We'll release the wrists, uncross your ankles, and come back through the center. We're just taking 3 to 5 breaths on each side. So upper body goes left, legs go left. Maybe grab the right wrist, maybe cross, left foot over right ankle. Stretching that outer hip. The more you can breathe into the ribs, the better, under that shoulder blade. Pressing the navel towards the mat, last breath. Good. And then we'll release, uncross. And as you come back into the center, we're gonna open into a big starfish shape. So widen the legs, widen the arms. And just imagine your energy flowing from your core out through the fingers and toes. Letting that circulation flow freely. Feeling grateful for our health and for spring, sprung. So taking care of our immune system with our yoga practice. Good. And then we're gently just going to come down with the arms and legs. Rock your head side to side. Release your neck so you can get your ear down to the floor. Good. And we're going to pancake flop over to our fronts for crocodile. We're going to use this to kind of get into the kidneys and lungs a little bit, liver. So coming over onto your belly, legs are going to be wide. And let's start with our Sphinx arms. So you feel that energy in the middle back. Open the front, stretching out the core from all those crunches we did. We're going to stack the palms and then bring your forehead down to the hands. And if that doesn't feel good on your lower back after the back bend, you could always bring the legs together. In 10:25. Oh. Oh my goodness. Okay. I forgot I was going on and on. I thought we had an hour. So from here, we're going to go right into Shavasana. Just bring your arms down by your side. Turn your cheek to the side or forehead down, or flip back over onto your back. And I'll just lead you through our quick Shavasana. So know that you are safe and held on this earth. Feel free to surrender all your worries, anxieties, negativity. With that exhale, it will be composted, coming out of you, back into the earth, being reborn as nutrients for new life and prana. And stay here as long as you'd like. I'm going to say my closing mantra. Om Mani Padme Hum. Compassion to all sentient beings. Shanti. Peace. Namaste.